Yo, 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 welcome back to the Slightly Unqualified podcast. We're doing episode 8 and we live in direct. What's good, world? It's Steven coming at you live. We got Matt. Say what's up, Matt.
It's popping.
And then we got special guests filling in for Andrew, my brother who's missing, my other Ravenclaw. But Brian's going to be filling him in. Say what's up, Brian.
What's going on, guys?
All right. So what you guys been up to, man? How was your week, Matt?
Could have been better. It is now day 4.5 of my heartbreak. The worst day of my life. Not the worst day. Worst half of the day of my life. You can tell my energy is kind of deflated today, but
yeah, we could bump you up.
I just want to know, how long will the pain last? How long would the Eagles should have won it, man? How long will the pain subside?
So I can't tell you that because my Buccaneers have never lost in the Super Bowl. But so I'm not trying to stab or turn the knife. But I've never lost in the Super Bowl. But I shouldn't last that long, man. You guys are a great team. You guys are going to bounce back. I would have to say, one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league.
We have the best quarterback in the NFC. I'm going to say it.
Yeah,
the AFC has all the quarterbacks. We have and I don't think it's close. We have by far the best quarterback in the NFC. His contract, whenever they do extend it, doesn't go into effect till 2024. So we have another year of good amount of cap space to work with. We got rid of our I don't want to say awful because we had record-setting numbers this year, but the defensive coordinator who didn't make any adjustments in the Super Bowl, we got rid of him to the Cardinals.
Guys, definitely.
God bless you, Cardinals fans, with all that mess you're about to have on defense. I don't know, man. This isn't me just saying it. This is unanimous amongst us Eagles fans. This is probably the best roster that we've ever assembled in the history of our franchise. And we put up 35 points and we didn't win. So to me, it's just a huge opportunity lost. I think Jalen's a dog. He'll be back. The core offensive weapons, those guys are already signed long term. AJ, Jalen's gonna get his contract. Dallas got his contract 2 years ago, and then we're gonna pay Devontae probably next season. So our core guys are there. It just feels like an opportunity missed. Jalen could have one extra from what he already is gonna get later on, and that hurts, man. He deserved it. He had the best argument, I think, of any Super Bowl to an MVP on a losing team. He balled out that game.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Did.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't lose that game. That ref.
I'm sorry, the Bradbury call, that wasn't a pass interference. That was a hand on the back, and that ball was 15 yards past Juju Smith.
Yeah. The call is aside. The call was it made me angry, but Gannon, our defensive coordinator, just didn't make any adjustments in the second half to get Mahomes pressured, and we had them to 14, and they got 25 in one half. So it isn't just that one play. But I will say, 2 minutes left with Jalen that day driving down the field, I like my chances versus what they gave us.
For sure.
So it definitely hurt. A lot went into that game, and Eagles could have won it. The players are being very humble about it. The turf was awful. The refereeing, the refereeing in the last turf? Yeah, the refereeing in the last minute and a half against us was awful. Our players took on the chin and just kind of said, it is what it is. A lot of them seem to have that okay, we'll be back next year kind of energy, which I love. It's not always easy going back.
Didn't they paint the field? Wasn't that the issue? They painted the field 2 days prior.
Yeah, that, and they had some new $800,000 turf that they did a homegrown turf here in Arizona, and they decided that the biggest game of the year was the one to try it out on.
Yeah, that's what I didn't understand. I was watching in the news the next day, and I was like, 800,000 Arizona. And I was like, that was the worst turf. I'd rather them play football in the street. You know what I mean? At least they're not going to slip and terrible.
Yeah, the lack of sacks on both ends, from two really good pass. We had 70 sacks this season. That's a third highest of all time in the history of the league, and we didn't get to the quarterback. They had they have Chris Jones, they have Frank Clark. They didn't get to Jalen at all. And if you look at the tapes, which I have, unfortunately, I'm still mourning my losses. It's clearly evident that turf really took away an entire part of both defenses, which is our defensive line. And the Eagles pride themselves on getting to the quarterback as much as they can. Now, Gannon didn't pressure with the blitz, which I think he should have, but our entire front four and their entire front four was just negated by bad field conditions.
Absolutely. It seemed like there was a lot of missed opportunities on both sides. It looked like the Chiefs' run game couldn't get started because that dude kept slipping. Yeah. And then it looked like the defense for the Eagles, they just couldn't get their feet in the ground. You know what I mean? Yeah. To really push off. It looked like they were holding back, but
yeah. I'll tell you what,
it's always next year. Always next year.
Yeah, it's like when Jalen launched that ball for like 45, 50 yards to AJ Brown, and AJ Brown did a fake catch to catch it in the end zone. I thought that was it, dude. I was like, this is it. This is going to be our year. And then what really did it for me was two things. One, Jalen fumbled the ball. Jalen doesn't. Yeah. He does fumble. More like not like actual like fumbles on a tackle, but like he drops the ball a lot. From when you run an RPO, it's hard to like always be consistent with running back about pulling out or giving it to him. So he drops it a lot with RPO. Kelsey himself has said that he has one of the fastest snaps in the league, which doesn't help Jalen at all. So he does have drops, but nothing like that where he's scrambling and all of a sudden he switches hands and it falls. So that happened. And then when Jalen threw it to Quez Watkins and Quez is open and it hits him right in the hands, dude, and Quez drops it. I saw those two things right there were probably, in my opinion, if we get either one of those there, we go two touchdowns up on the Chiefs going into the second half, and I
100%
love that more than being 10
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a very eventful, but yet uneventful Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like there was a lot of plays the Eagles did. What'd you guys think about the halftime show? Do you think Rihanna killed it? You think it was just, or do you think it was a pretty good performance? What do you guys got? Go with you, Brian.
I mean, I think after, the robust rollout, like it's Rihanna, and then she comes on stage and she's playing hits that have features with people who are in the crowd. Jay-Z, one of them, doesn't come on stage, nothing. And I think out of her MAC makeup or whatever she did for the Fenty line, where she got more money getting that versus really showcasing her music, that's where I kind of ran into an issue because it felt bland. Like outside of the Super Smash Brothers, like stage lifting and she's in the middle situation, like that was the only cool thing. Cause I'm like, man, if you could run a Smash game on this right now, perfect. But I think the baby bump was the biggest situation. That's what everybody's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
That was funny.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on the underwhelming aspect of it. But so the difficult part is that last year's was such a good like moment for just like not just hip hop, but just the culture of music in general. Yeah, there's a ton of special guests, everything like that. So two things with this Super Bowl halftime show. One, underwhelming in my opinion. It's difficult for Rihanna to put on that level of a show because her talent, and I'm not saying this negatively, I love Rihanna. I told Steven on Sunday, Michael Jackson, Beyonce, Rihanna. That's how I have my entertainers. And then Justin Timberlake, Bruno Mars is somewhere in there as well. But we know Rihanna's specialty is not dancing. It's not moving. It's her voice and her singing and her ability to make hits and make everybody around her dance. I think the choreography was fine. Like the guys in white or guys and girls in white. I just think Rihanna was a little bland, and I think that she needed somebody to come out with her.
Yeah, 100%.
I think if I don't know if I want to say this because I could be completely wrong here. I don't know Rihanna's mind, but it looked like she curated that performance to have at least Kanye out there for 2 or 3 songs.
Yeah,
and then the plan happened. She was going to do it, and then Kanye did what he did. We won't get too much into that. And it caused her to like, okay, now I can't bring my guest that I wanted to bring out. Now Jay-Z was there, but Jay-Z's the curator of the Super Bowl halftime show now, and it'd be kind of wild if Jay-Z put himself down for like coming out as a guest. but it just seemed to me like a very easy show. Like the performers,
the clothes,
the mask they had on, the clothes they had on. It seemed to me like it was like a perfect rollout for Kanye to come out for 2 or 3 songs, and then it just couldn't happen. The Diamond in the Sky thing was really cool.
That was dope.
That's that about the highlight for me, besides her being pregnant again for the second time, which congrats to Rihanna and A$AP Rocky for that.
Yep.
Yeah. So besides that, man, Super Bowl was pretty cool. Food was bomb. Thanks, Theo out there. He made some bomb burgers, bomb chicken wings. It was good. But so besides the Super Bowl happened this last week, Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Ant-Man dropped today. Brian, you've seen it, right?
Yeah, actually caught a little sneak peek of it. So
there you go.
I will say this.
Hey, don't spoil it.
No spoilers. No spoilers. You need to stay for both end credit scenes.
Yes.
This is where it's going to put everything together and make what they're doing in the multiverse realistic.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't stay past, if you leave credits, you're not gonna understand anything. You leave after the 2 credit scenes, it's a wrap. You're gonna know and you're gonna understand. You're gonna put everything together.
Gotcha. I'm gonna have to do that.
Yeah.
I was just gonna bring that up. Like, how does Ant-Man tie in without spoiling? Is it the stepping stone that we thought it was going to be, or is it a 2-parter? Like we're still waiting on that other movie to bring everything forward.
I would say it's a stepping stone for sure.
Okay, cool. What about you, Matt? What do you think?
Yeah, so I saw it just like an hour ago, so I'm fresh off of it, and I'm
you're hyped.
So there's a couple things, right? As far as MCU movies go, it's I wouldn't say it's lower end. I wouldn't say it's a very tippy top. It's like mid to mid top. Only because the plot is nothing special, but
all over the place, or is it more?
No. Just nothing special. It falls in line perfectly. It's just nothing extravagant or special. But the things that happen specifically with Kang, Kang pops out of the comic book, man. He shows out, kind of like how Namor was for Black Panther for me. Every time he was in a scene, he stole the show. It was exactly what I wanted from Kang specifically. And I was going through this movie looking for Kang, not like He Who Remains that we just saw in Loki season 1. Kang, like the Conqueror. And without giving too much away, man, he
comes.
It seems like Kevin Feige asked the writers, what should we do this movie? And the writers responded with, put the fear of God in everybody about Kang. And that's what happens exactly.
Yes.
So even if the plot isn't strong, you walk out there feeling like, okay, this big Thanos that we just had, Kang is on that level, if not a little bit higher because of this film.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's on some Thanos level. That's pretty epic, dude.
Yeah. He's forefront and center, which I loved. I thought they were gonna like keep him in the shadows a lot. Kang is here, and I'm excited for
presence. Okay.
All right. And then the 2 post-credit scenes, they're one's unexpected, kind of like it's the last one I'm talking about, Brian. The mid-credit scene, I expected that to come at some point. I didn't think I was gonna love it as much as I did here. But it makes so much sense, and it's gonna lead right into, like Kevin Feige said, right into Kang Dynasty. And I think the MCU they're in trouble, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, do you think that the Avengers are in trouble, kind of thing?
I think anybody who's a hero going against Kang is gonna get mopped at some point.
Oh, dang. All right. So now me trying to pry without getting spoilers, is this movie, how do I say this without spoiling? Does this movie, does it look like it has the potential or Kang to be like the next 3 years? Or do you think it's going to be like
absolutely
4 movies and then we're going to kind of see, you know what I mean?
I'll kind of go first in this one. With what they give us to the mid-credit scenes, this can go on for 10 years.
Wow.
It's and when we talk about Kang, and we should know this going like just out the gate, he's almost an unlimited character, right?
He
the latching on that we had to like RDJ for Iron Man, we can have that with Jonathan Majors for Kang, and in 20 years from now, you can come back and it makes sense because it's Kang. So the mid-credit scene really drives home that like, okay, so two things. One, Jonathan Majors, the Kang he played, He Who Remains in Loki season 1, and the Kang he plays here are vastly different Kangs, and he does incredible at both. So Jonathan Majors, when they first announced him, I knew him from Lovecraft County. He was a good actor. I just didn't know like his range. And this is a role where you have to have probably the most amount of range because you're going to be a different character every time you see him, pretty much.
Yeah.
And so far, the two that I've got so far have been spot on. Like the Conqueror Kang is the Conqueror Kang. He Who Remains, who's kind of peaceful with how the universe ends, was just like that in Loki. And Majors is, I think when RDJ left, I didn't know who the guy was going to be. I thought it was going to be Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace. And then I thought it was going to be Benedict Cumberbatch, and I thought it was going to be Tom Holland. Holland's looking like he doesn't want to play it very much longer anyway, so I was like, okay, that's out of the window. Cumberbatch just seems like his last film was kind of underwhelming, and they only did one Doctor Strange film in like 5 years. So I think they're going to latch on to Kang until they bring in like Victor Von Doom or the Fantastic Four or something like that. And I think Majors is well prepared to play it from what we've seen so far. And I'm just excited, man. Like this was like the last phase 4 was not bad. It just seemed like there was like a lot of like nothing going on except for like the first season of Loki. Loki
I feel like really lit the fire for
and then No Way Home. No Way Home also had the same multiversal effect. This movie is like, okay, here we go. Like here's our next thing, and we're gonna go full-fledged into it. And I'm ready for it, man. Ready for it.
So what'd you take away from that, Brian?
So I think Kevin Feige literally walked in a room and said, "These are the comics that I want. Take from them. Do not stray away from this. Yes. If you guys stray away from it, we're gonna have an issue." I also feel like the build to this character might be a little bit bigger than Thanos, maybe even bigger with the way he's coming in, because Thanos came in looking for Infinity Stones. This dude's coming in talking about, I want the world and I want to conquer it, The only thing that I feel like going into Secret Wars and not King Dynasty, Secret Wars, is how many characters is Jonathan Majors going to play outside of just King the Conqueror, He Who Remains, and all that? That's the bigger question that I have, because like this dude can act and he can put a role to shame.
Yeah,
but how many people are we gonna have him push?
I think I'm getting subliminal little hints on what these cutscenes look like in some of the big directions, because I know King does play a lot of villains and different versions of those villains. So it's going to be interesting on how that goes. So Matt, earlier you were talking about Spider-Man 4. What were you talking about news wise?
Yeah, so back on the Tom Holland thing.
I remember you saying that.
Said he wants to hang it up. Turns out he doesn't. So it looks like Kevin Feige shared some updates on Spider-Man 4. It's currently the writers are putting pen to paper as we speak, he said.
Ooh,
so it looks like they have the story they want. Looks like they have Holland back on board. Tom Holland did, like during No Way Home, the press run did share how he thought this was going to be. They treated it as if it was going to be the end of his Spider-Man solo film stories, at least. And that it felt like that. Turns out Kevin Feige is like, nah, we need Spider-Man 4.
We're just getting started.
Yeah, he did say if he's older than 30 and still playing Spider-Man, he thinks he's gone wrong somewhere. He's 26 now. So I think he has, maybe, if you do the math and they do it every 2 years like they always do for Spider-Man films, he has 3 films left. Or 2 more movies. And then the third one,
I think it's a handoff.
He himself is saying, hand it off to Miles.
Dude, that's what the world needs, man. We need Miles, man. We definitely need Miles. Yeah. So that's cool, man. I'm glad that Feige's sitting down with him instead of just telling, here's our timeline. you're gonna be Spider-Man. I like that the fact that they're like sitting down with the actors and being like, "Yo, what do we need to do?" You know what I mean, to make the story fulfilled, but yet not you be Spider-Man for 30 more years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially for that character, you can easily hand that off. Going back to Ant-Man, I forgot to ask this question. What was one thing that you wish that like they would have added or they wouldn't have done? What would that be, Brian?
You know what, dude? I'm gonna be honest. MODOK. I truly believe. Listen, MODOK needs a better entrance. Okay, he's another
he's a
big
good
baddie
villain.
that somebody should have took the time to at least make him a full villain for maybe 1 or 2 movies. And that was the thing that
is he a trailer villain where he's in the movie for like 10 minutes? Tell me he's in the movie for like 10 minutes.
No, he's in the movie.
He's in the movie,
okay.
but I wish it was like a movie and a half or something.
Yeah, I feel you. What about you, Matt? What'd you think? What was your letdown in this one?
My it's gonna sound bad because it's not a bad movie, dude. It really isn't. But the plot was a letdown. The plot was a letdown. It could have been stronger. It could have been better. I thought this is gonna be the one to break the Marvel mold. It did not break the Marvel mold whatsoever. But where it lacks in plot, it makes up for literally everything else. The dynamic that Scott and his daughter have is forefront and center, and and you start to like get a picture of like who Cassie is, and you start to understand how Cassie's going to come in later on with like the West Coast / Young Avengers. You kind of get a feel of like Scott himself and what like he actually stands for. You get a feel for the first time, in my opinion, for Janet Van Dyne and what her character actually is, instead of just like this side character to Hank Pym. I did want a little bit more of Hank Pym, but when you give us Scott Lang as the first Ant-Man, you want more Hank Pym always, obviously.
You want Hank Pym. You know what I mean? He's the G, man. He's the OG on that one.
Yeah, and then how they handled Kang as like the final act and like as the movie ends. I didn't like it at first, but the mid-credit scene
helped it out.
Makes it make sense, and it's something that you complained about a lot. I'm not gonna say where it is, Steven, but you hate it about Marvel films. And I thought they're gonna do it again, and they didn't. So
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
We'll leave it there.
Cool. All right, that's a good way to end it. So you know that I am not a PlayStation fanboy. We have Matt who is a PlayStation fanboy, Brian who swings both ways.
Whoa.
And he plays Xbox and PlayStation. What is it? I'm not gonna lie though, this looked really cool and it has my attention with the PlayStation 2, PlayStation VR 2. It dropped the news a couple weeks ago, but people are getting their hands on it and doing reviews. So I have 2 questions.
Okay.
How do you feel about gaming consoles going VR? The second question is, let's go with that one first. How do you feel with gaming consoles going VR? Matt, what you got?
Well, all one of them. It's just PlayStation who does it. Xbox
sooner or later,
Switch are not. The Switch never going to do it.
No, Xbox, they're not going that way.
No,
I don't think the Xbox will do it either. I think they're so consumed with cloud gaming that they won't switch to VR. And then it's the opposite for PlayStation. They don't care about cloud gaming whatsoever, but they want to go VR.
That's what it looks like.
But if the hardware's there, do it. I mean, it makes the VR experience way more streamlined for the everyday consumer. I don't have to go get a PC that has these specs to run this game. I don't got to hook it up. I can just plug it into my PlayStation, get the disc that says PlayStation VR on it to play it, and I'm good to go. And that, to me, is the most important thing with VR currently, is getting the everyday person, everyday family actually into it so that there's more content to come out of it. So I don't mind it. Is it going to be as powerful as like a PC based VR? Never. Same way that a PC based game is always going to be superior to a console based game.
Sure.
But I think it makes it more user friendly. It makes it more not family friendly per se, but makes it more the ease of access and ease of use is there to put
you don't
on
have
a
to worry
console.
about if you compete. Yeah. So, what do you think, Brian?
I mean, so being like an owner of both consoles, obviously Xbox is probably never going to do that, and there's a reason why. The gripe that I have about PlayStation doing this is, one, the price point. You're going to make me pay the price of $50 more than what I'm paying for a PS5, right? And the PlayStation 5 just got into stores.
Yeah.
Now you want to ship a VR, which I get it. You got 4K OLED, lenses in there. But I think the one main thing that I take away from this is you're still wired in. You are not walking away from your PS5. You are USB-C to the front of your PlayStation 5, and you're stuck there. And then you have to go out and you have to buy all the accessories to charge them if you want to have a nice docking station. So it just becomes an issue, is like, are you going to bundle them together, maybe take some price off? But knowing how Sony works, they did the whole bonus thing with the PlayStation in TVs. I don't know if they're going to bundle the VR with the PlayStation 5, because now you're looking at almost $1,100, and most people aren't.
That's a big step, dude. $1,100
for both.
I can buy the Meta Quest 2 twice. You know what I mean?
Like 3 times.
It's a good headset. You know what I mean? So I am excited, and I hate to say this out loud and on camera and live and going to be recorded forever. I'm glad PlayStation did this. The reason why is I am a big person when it comes to competition. I think competition makes the world better.
Do you know? Couldn't tell a few weeks ago about the Blizzard competition we had. But go ahead, continue on.
See, it's those salty ass PlayStation people, man. They can't, you know what I mean? I'm turning over a new page in my life. I'm getting older. Anyways,
I'm getting older. That's for sure.
Oh, okay, thanks. So I like that PlayStation did this, because now Meta has to step it up and make a better affordable headset. The scary part about this is, I don't want to say scary, but do you think that this is gonna get, like, I keep getting Ready Player One stuck in my head, where everybody maybe has different glasses, but everybody's in one location playing together. Do you think it's going to be a problem in the VR world going forward? Not right now, because I know the worlds are not built, but do you think those hangout or those like
a social problem,
like a social problem, where it's like, man, Brian's rocking the PlayStation, I have Meta, and Matt's over here playing with the HTC one that just came out. You know what I mean? We can't all link in together. Or you don't think that's going to be a problem? You know what I mean? Do you think it's, you don't think that's going to be a problem? What about you, Brian? You think that's going to be a problem?
Because Rec Room is available on all three, on all of them. Like, there's going to be the games that you're going to get on one, unless they're exclusive, like Facebook's Metaverse, whatever they call it, Horizons. Then you can play together still. It's the same way you play together on a console now, is just cross compatibility.
Yeah. I think where the dividing line is at this point, I think that, Sony's getting rights to use games that are on the MetaQuest right now, and or not the MetaQuest, the Quest, and they're kind of gonna have that whole, like, if you don't buy ours, you can still go play with your, the other people. So I think there's that fold there where they're gonna start giving, like, games to PlayStation to use that will allow people who are playing on PC to play with PlayStation. I know that, like, that partnership is kind of one of those once in a year type things, but there might be something there. But again, it's gonna take, hey, am I gonna go buy the Quest 2 for $300, or am I gonna go buy the PSVR 2? I mean, there is a very strong debate there to say, hey, like, there's a price point difference, there's quality difference. I think Sony's kind of pushed, big quality difference. Yeah. I mean, you have those OLED lenses, you have their 3D audio. I mean, Sony's pushing into the, to the limit.
Doing a great job. I wish it was a standalone. If it was a standalone, shoot, I might be.
Can't be with what they're trying to. The game you're trying to play in it, you can't do a standalone right now.
Yeah,
it's not possible.
I mean, at least they bundled headphones with theirs, Like that's the thing.
I know with the Quest, man, I have to throw my earbuds in, and then then it feels.
Look, it's that extra $300. You get a couple little earbuds in your ears, man. That's what it is.
Hard pass on that. The fact that I'd have to go buy a PlayStation just to play like Beat Saber, you know what I mean? I'd be mad, you know what I mean? But I guess it has its niche. I entered that niche with VR about a year ago, almost a year ago to the date, and I feel like people are missing out. I feel like people think VR is a joke. Dude, VR is terrible graphics. It looks even with the terrible graphics, it is super fun. It is playing VR poker, playing the battle royales. What was that game called, Matt, that we play? The one that's kind of like Fortnite. Population 1. Yeah, that game is fun, dude. There's so much good content on it. I just wish more people were playing, and I've gotten almost half of my family to buy a headset, and they're loving it. But yeah, I hope Xbox jumps in that battle. Knowing Xbox, and I know my peoples, will probably just buy a company and just take it over and be like, Xbox new headset, you know what I mean, or a VR set. So, but I digress. Xbox will win at the end of the day. Forever Xbox.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, so I got let me see. I saw some news Matt sent over about the new Joker 2 movie. I know we're talking about comic book movies all day, but that's what's in the news right now.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's a very like quiet news comic culture week, you know what I mean?
Very quiet, very quiet.
Yeah, so did you guys watch Joker 1? I think I'm the only one who hasn't seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
The 2 times I sat down to watch it, my kids are there, dude. I got little ones running around.
Listen closely. Okay, getting close to the headset when I say this.
All right, I'm listening.
Godfather, Joker. Okay, really? Godfather, Joker. Okay, DiCaprio and The Revenant, Joaquin Phoenix and the Joker. Not that high up, but pretty good. Good movie still.
Yeah, pretty close. Okay, I get you. The dramatic effect really helped out. I
just think of all people, I don't know why you haven't seen it specifically.
It's because when I found out the ending of the Joker, I got upset because that ending is from a comic book and it's from a graphic novel, and I hate when people steal one little cool part of a comic book and they're like, yeah, let's just throw that in there. You know what I mean? Because it's happened before in a comic book. I just felt like when he breaks a glass and kills Robert De Niro, I was like, really? Like I just got upset because
such an awful reason not to watch that movie.
I just got upset. I
hate that for anything. You could watch any superhero movie and be like, oh, in Batman Year One, they did this with Tom King's Batman. Let's put it in here. Oh, but all we did from that realm was this one thing from Tom King Batman. Like, let's not watch Batman then. Like, come on, man. What is that?
It bothers me. Okay, let me be in my feelings. Yeah, no, I need to watch that movie. I just really, to be honest with you, I think I've watched the first like 13, 14 minutes of it twice because every time I sit down to watch it, the kids walk in and I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, it took me forever to see Black Panther. Even when it dropped on the first, it took me 4 days after that to go watch Black Panther. You know what I mean? Like, not the fact that it's a terrible, crazy, gory movie, but just I wanted to pay attention, which I feel terrible. I should have watched that in theaters. That was a great movie.
You're going to feel even worse with Joker if you watch it not in theaters.
Really?
That movie was built for cinema.
Yeah.
Dang it. That sucks, man. I'm going to have to go rent a movie theater out and, like, you know what I mean? Because
the freezer.
Like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, we should do the freezer, do Joker 1. Yeah, that's right. So, Brian, up in here in Phoenix, there's a Harkins movie theater. It's like in a hotel behind a freezer door. It's like a hidden Harkins. Oh. And you can rent the room out and it's up to like what 14, 15 people, Matt?
Like 20,
like
25.
That. Oh, 20 something people. And it's not bad, dude. It's like $40 a person if you think about it.
Like $1,500.
Yeah, it's $1,500.
That's like,
and it comes with
all inclusive for concessions.
So everything.
Candy, popcorn.
Dude. So like that's a good.
I'd be up there all day, man.
Dude, I know, right? So
yeah,
I'm messing out on life, but it's all good.
So
all right.
With the Joker, the reason why I put it out. So there's a couple things with this that I don't want to gloss over this Joker film coming out because there's a couple key things here that bother me from what I've seen in that first film. One, it's going to be a musical, which is like, this was a perfect, not that musical, not cinema, right? West Side Story, La La Land, great movies. Tick Tick Boom,
Grease.
all musicals, all great. Grease,
classic.
Yeah, so cinema can be a musical. The problem is you just gave me like a dark, gritty drama that was like, I'm gonna be honest with you. When I was in the theater watching, I felt uncomfortable. Like the performance he put on and like how dramatic it was and how like dark it was.
Yeah.
I felt like I shouldn't be here and watching this movie right now. It's that dramatic and that like gritty and dark.
Yeah.
And to turn around and like make it a musical without any explanation other than we want it to be a musical. Does that bother anybody else?
Yeah.
No.
I'm on the 50-50 train here.
All right, give me your take.
50-50 here. It's a dark, gritty movie. There might be segments of singing, right? Like segments. In my personal opinion, the side that I'm on the positive is, if they're gonna make it a musical, they got arguably the best person to do a musical and be Harley Quinn. Like she knocks it out of the park. So I'm just on that, like, are we gonna do 50% of the movie? Is it gonna be singing, 50% acting? Like, what are we doing? And we're not getting any information either. It's literally, it's behind closed doors. I mean, we get pictures with like every 2 to 3 weeks at this point. So I mean, if you're in love with the fact that it's the Joker and a Harley Quinn story, then this is probably gonna be your movie. If you're not enjoying the singing part, then obviously it's going to be one of those things where you're like, oh, do I wait for it to come on the streaming platform, or you just catch the reviews? But knowing Todd Howard, he's going to do something with it.
I'm kind of stoked because I do like that in the comic books and the graphic novel, Harley and Joker have like this kind of theatrical relationship, and they do sing and dance all the time. And from the animated to the graphic novels, that history of them kind of singing and dancing.
Not for a whole run, though.
But that is going to be interesting.
Not for a whole run, not for a whole movie.
I do like an
occasional thing.
What's that movie called with Johnny Depp and the chick from Harry Potter? Something.
Sweeney Todd.
There you go. That movie was a musical, and I love that movie. I've watched that movie like 100 times, and I think they did great. It's a darker, gory movie, and the singing was amazing. I thought it was cool. Are you taking away from, since I haven't seen the first one, having those singing parts? Is it going to take away from the cinematic, like, theater performance of Joker? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
I can see that happening.
So here's my take on that, and it's gonna suck for you because you haven't seen the movie, but I'm gonna spoil it for you because it's been
really
years. I could see them. Okay, the route that we went with in this film was he saw a girl, obsessed with her, and she ended up not being real, or not even knowing about him, even though in his mind they were dating for like months on end.
Yeah, I do know that part.
I could see them going that same route with the theatrical thing. He could be hallucinating and thinking he's in a musical theater, therefore he's going kind of crazy again, like he always does. He's the Joker. Therefore, he causes terror in the street because he thinks he's in a musical with this girl that he loves. Harley Quinn's just as crazy as he is, so she goes along with it because she thinks the same thing. I can see them having that same mentality. Okay, he's crazy, therefore this idea of a Joker musical is so crazy, the Joker himself would actually do it, which is, I'll give him that. Hand clap for that, if that's what it is. I just don't. That two things, they should have just stopped at Joker 1. The Joker was so good that it didn't need a follow-up. There's no backstory for the Joker really in the comics, so I don't need to see more of a backstory getting filled out. Because that's what makes him so great, is the mystery behind him. I mean, in the freaking Dark Knight, no one knowing who he was or what he did was the reason why he was so feared, because it's a different lie every single time.
And the fact that there was like 3 different origins he was telling, he was all over the place. You were just like, you wanted to see more.
Yeah, to the point of Lady Gaga. I mean, yeah, they couldn't have picked a better person to play Harley Quinn while singing, but they could have picked a better person to play Harley Quinn. Period. Like that's what throws me off. Is like, you could have given me an actual drama between the two of them with and not just say Gaga's not a good actress. She just won an Oscar. Yeah. Happy for her. House of Gucci was really good, and she was a great reason why. Everything she's in, she does good in. I'm not saying that that's the case.
Yeah,
but you definitely could get a better A-list actor than Lady Gaga to play a crazy Harley Quinn with this Joaquin Phoenix Joker in a normal setting if you didn't need her to sing. Definitely can see that. And then in the photos they released this last week, or I think it was yesterday, actually, Valentine's Day, 2 days ago, she looks nothing like Harley Quinn. It's just like a normal person.
So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they're going to go the therapist route.
Yeah, they have to.
I think that's where they're going to start with it. And then she feeds into his, sociopath, psychotic side that kind of brings them together. And I think that's what turns her. Okay. So I'm thinking that's what's going to happen. But again, I can understand, like, there's that 50-50 split. Is it a musical? Yeah. Are we going to get dark and gritty? Like, that's where I'm at. And I'm a little confused. Like, you're showing me pictures, but what are you showing me pictures of? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's still shots. Like, and the one on Valentine's Day was literally a still shot, I think, of the Joker choking her at this point, like trying to get a kiss. So I don't know. Is that in the therapist office or?
I think they're going to do the therapist. I think all these singing and dancing parts is going to be in his head. I think that none of the singing is going to be real life. I think maybe he's just fantasizing with her, and then she denies him, and then he actually hits her with some kind of Joker. I'm not saying it's a Joker serum where he turns her into a Joker, but maybe he like brainwashes her enough till she cracks. You know what I mean? Or maybe he does do the Joker serum. I don't know. Either way, that's kind of how I think the musical is going to be added, but I think it's going to be pretty good. I think the Joaquin Phoenix Joker's what birth Batman, the Batman. I think since I never watched the Joker, but I think that gritty darkness, I think they were like, you know what, we can even go deeper on the Batman. Let's add him. Yeah. That's where I think.
I can see that.
But all right. So I had a question for you, both of you guys, since you guys both own them. I was talking about this with a coworker, and then I saw, like, this was probably about almost a year ago when I was talking about this, and then on social media I saw it pop up again. We're going to get into the game right now, but let me answer this question. I want to hear Brian's answer, and then we'll go to you, Matt. When the Hulk snaps, remember, he puts the glove on, snaps, and those people come back. It shows, what's the chick from Black Widow, the one, the sister who, Elena? Remember, she's like, Elena, remember, she's washing her face and she like disappears, and then when this final snap happens, she comes back and she's in the bathroom and she reappears and she's like, what just happened? So when the people who got snapped and disappeared that were flying in an airplane or on a boat or doing construction, 5 years went by and then they snapped the other snap and they came back. Were those people instantly killed, like, because of the construction, like where they were once where a wall was? They appeared where the wall was, and then they just, you know what I mean? Like, half their bodies on one side of a wall, half on the other, or people in the air disappeared when they came back. Were they just in the air falling? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What do you think, Brian? What do you think on that take?
So, I mean, going back to Spider-Man, obviously when the blip happened and then everybody came back into the gym, I'm assuming whatever you were doing the last point in time before the snap happened, whether if you were flying in a plane, you're dead. Either that or you're getting blipped back into the water, and then you're going to be like, what the hell's going on? I'm assuming that, because obviously in Spider-Man, when obviously the snap reversed, everybody's in the gym, basketball team's playing, and then, you have that situation. So I think whatever you
think
doing,
so, wherever you were at, that's where you came back at.
Yeah.
What about you, Matt? What's your take on that?
I don't think that's how it happened. Bruce, aka Hulk, had enough willpower to understand that like the request of the snap that he was making was. So the reason why I know this is I'll tell you why I know this after I say what it is bring everybody back safely without dying.
Okay,
so
I don't remember that, but
no, he doesn't say it. He doesn't say it.
Yeah.
I'm saying that Bruce would have enough intelligence to.
Oh yeah, to do that.
Let's be clear. He says nothing when he snaps.
Yeah.
So it's whatever he wills. So Bruce is a pure soul. He would will people to come back safely without dying.
Yeah.
Geographically, how that works with like where they're at, I don't know. Maybe they just pinpoint back down to like on Earth somewhere if they're in the sky. I don't know.
Yeah.
But long story short is that Bruce, when he snaps, wills it to be safely with nobody being harmed too dramatically outside of like nicks and bumps. Reason why I say he's able to do that because he's able to control the snap so much so that he doesn't erase the past 5 years like was requested. Everyone just comes back. So because we know he can do that much, we know he can also just say safely in his mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True.
That is what I think is the answer. Is Bruce had enough intelligence and enough goodwill to be like, okay, here's the snap. Keep everything the same for the last 5 years, like we already talked about.
Yeah.
And also keep everyone safe from dying.
For sure. Yeah, it's a good thought though, like because you didn't think it's like you don't really think about it until you're just like we were just talking about it, and I was like, I wonder, what like were people just in the road and then whoop, and then they 5 years later a car they come back and bam a car hits them.
Mm-hmm. You want another one? You want another one that's like I can't figure it out myself personally.
Okay, what you got?
In Endgame, when Steve comes back at the very end as an old man, 2 questions. One, the entire timeline that they go through. So we know that in that moment of time, Kang has a single timeline.
Yeah.
In He Who Remains has one concurrent timeline. We see it stream. So it's only one timeline at that moment in time. And it's always said, and he's always said, Kang, the Avengers were supposed to do this. Right?
Yeah.
So, question.
Ooh.
Concurrently speaking, okay, this is going to sound crazy. Concurrently speaking, in every single film since Iron Man 1, is there a Steve Rogers somewhere in the world? That's the first question.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So before Iron Man, before the first metahuman or whatever it is, you don't think Steve Rogers would have enough America Star Spangled Banner boy in him to be like, oh, there's some danger going on. Let me go fight for that real quick since I can.
What? Oh, so you think about any events from
if Steve is there?
Yeah.
He should have been involved from the get-go. As soon as Tony was lost in the terrorists or was captured by terrorists in the desert, he should have been the first person on speed dial to help. That's the first question.
But remember, Miss Marvel's around too, right? When Tony Stark goes in.
Captain Marvel's not in Earth though. She's not on Earth.
Oh, she's off Earth.
Yeah, she's
but
off
Shield,
Earth, yeah.
But Shield is available. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then remember, Steve's in hiding. If he's in that thing, he's hiding because if you look through all of Peggy's like episodes, she always makes references saying she got married, but she never says to who. But then she got married, but yet still kept a picture of Steve. So the whole time she knew.
So you think
they were hiding him? That's
you think it's in character for Steve Rogers to sit by while there's danger?
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
I mean, I don't
just a plot hole, right?
Yeah, it is a plot hole. Yeah, I can see it.
But even if you accept, go ahead, Brian. Go ahead.
No, so real quick, here's this is I know this is like on the topic of Captain America. I think at some point, and maybe it'll come to fruition, and if it does, like, pay me money. I think Steve Rogers is going to be the person who is at the gates for whoever has to sacrifice for the Soul Stone. I think he gave away something to be there, to be the gatekeeper for the Soul Stone. I'm just throwing that out there in the future.
Yeah. Do you think I don't think they go back in I think the stones after after Loki and them looking in the drawer and seeing like 40 different Infinity Stones, I don't see them reusing the Infinity Stones because they're kind of like they're one of what we thought they were super rare. They had like a whole drawer full of them, so I think it just kind of like made fun of like.
I think they did it just to see how powerful Kang is, not to nullify how powerful the stones are. So the stones are still like a power to be willed. Like if Loki gets all the stones in a different universe that's not controlled 100% by Kang, he would be the most powerful person in the universe. And we see that in What If, because What If came out after Loki.
Mm-hmm.
So the stones still matter. I just don't know if him come back ever.
I think it's Secret Wars. That just throwing that out there. I think it's Secret Wars.
Sense. Yeah, I can see that.
Like Red Skull sacrifices himself, but has the fact that Captain America stays at the gatekeeping to bring Tony back.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking that might be a thing.
So two more questions. One going based because now I'm on a tangent now. One's going based on this Captain America thing. Let's say we all accept that Steve is in the timeline the whole time. Steve's always,
and I think he is. Yeah, I think he is.
Okay. The hard part. This is the tricky part. Was like, okay, Steve's always there. Question number 2. Where is Steve's shield? Because he brings it back with him at the very end. So when he goes back in time for the first time to return the stones, he has a briefcase in one hand, Thor hammer in the other. No shield because it was destroyed in the fight.
Yeah.
Okay. If there's 2 Captain Americas now in that timeline, and the one that went back in time has the shield, how did the one in the current time have a shield?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
And that's what gets me lost, is there's never 2 shields ever. So how did Old Man Steve have the shield at the end while the Steve in the regular timeline also had a shield?
I thought the shield got destroyed in the fight.
It did. So so Old Man Steve, when he comes back to give the shield to the Falcon, he must have stolen that timeline Steve's shield, okay? Yeah. Which means that everything we saw from Iron Man all the way through to Avengers Endgame, how did Steve have a shield if Old Man Steve had the shield already? There can't be 2 shields.
No.
Yeah, technically, Old Man, it doesn't make sense anyways because that means if the Old Man was still Old Man Rogers, there would have been no new Rogers. You know what I'm saying?
There would have been 2 Rogers still.
Then where's that Rogers at?
At the end, there's not 2 Rogers. There's only 1. So up until the Nexus point, which would be like once he goes back into time, those 2 Rogers eventually become 1 at that moment in time. So it's like a loop like this, and then this is the 1 Roger. So right now, 2 Rogers.
Yeah,
the 2 of them meet right here and go back in time, and then one of them loops back.
So no, I think what I think happened in this situation is when that ship was going down, when Steve Rogers is the guy, he takes that ship and Skull takes off. That ship crashes and nobody finds it. And Steve goes back in time and goes, I got off the ship. You know what I'm saying?
But because then he would have been the same age as when he left when he came back. He gets significantly older, as if he lived another life.
Yeah.
So if he didn't get older, that I could see that happening. Or if he was getting older as like the events go on all the way through Endgame, I get it. But he was never age 60 plus years all of a sudden until he lived a whole new life again.
But yeah, I get that. That's a big loophole.
That's the one plot hole I've ever seen in my Marvel's thing.
Yeah, I would like someone to explain it to me. Maybe I need a whiteboard. You know.
Second thing, which I think will go into Secret Wars. Thanos dies, right? Thor cuts his head off.
Yeah.
Okay. Baby Thanos, who comes to fight the Avengers in Endgame, sees that and knows that. So he knows he's going to change that part of it. When Iron Man snaps him away, where does he go? Back to where he came from, which would be dumb of Iron Man to do because he's just going to do it again. Or does he put him somewhere? Like, it doesn't seem like he was dying. No, none of them were in agony when they got snapped away on the Thanos side of things. Like when Peter was clearly in pain when he was dying, Thanos just seemed to be okay with what was happening. Is Thanos going back to his timeline, or is he going like to the soul world or something?
No,
going back to his timeline, or is he going like to
no,
the soul world or something?
I think he got snapped, and he kind of, the whole saying, you live by this sword, you die by the sword, or you live by the gun, you die by the gun. I think Thanos knowing, like, we never saw anybody get snapped before. Those guys were just like, whoa, what is this? And like it was a shock. You know what I mean? But then when Thanos gets snapped on, he knows what the snap does. You know what I mean? That's why he's just like, man, we lost. You know what I mean? Like, just accepting defeat.
But again, stay within character of the characters here. Don't just think of like Thanos would never be okay with that ever. If he got snapped back to it, so two things. If he was snapped back to his timeline, he would make sure the way he lost isn't how he's going to lose again. But again, right now we know that it's one continuous timeline still. There's no branches because Kang made it so.
Yeah.
So therefore, he never changes it. Right? Which leads me to believe, one, they put him somewhere post that snap. But if they put him somewhere post that snap and don't put him back where he was supposed to go, those events never happened in the first place for him to even get to that point.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
Number two.
Yeah. It is difficult, and that's why I really didn't want them to go into the whole time loop world. But they had to if they're going to get to Kang. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Everything else was cleaned up. Just those are the two things I was like, these two things specifically, it could probably be explained by someone who wrote these movies. But those are my two only things. I'm like, these are the two only plots I ever see in all of Marvel. Everything else was explained until these two. Which who knows? Kang might explain all of it.
I thought it would have been cool if they would have started off with Kang just knifing that Thanos that knew what happened. And was just like, I got to figure out a way to get to the other timeline. And King was like, nah, and just crushed him. You know what I mean? That would have showed how powerful King would be.
Yeah.
After you watch Ant-Man, not worth Kang's time, but you'll see what I mean by that.
Okay, I gotcha. All right. Well, now that we all got our conspiracy theories or plot hole, you know what I mean, fixed. I didn't know I was going to go into that little rabbit hole. I just thought it was a great one. But that was good, man. I thought that was awesome. I would like to do some more of that with other movies and different stuff. But all right, we're going to jump into the game. So this game tonight, it's called Which One Is a Lie? I'm going to give you guys 3 facts. One of them is a lie, and you guys got to tell me which one's a lie. Hopefully I can keep a straight face. Don't look at my face, though, because, I don't want to give it away. But one of them is going to be a lie. Let me pull this up. And then you're going to tell me, and then let me write this down to make sure I can keep score. All right. So the first one is your blood makes up 8% of your body weight.
Your blood?
Your blood. The next one is Johnny Cash once got into a fist fight with... Wait, I misspelled that right. Wait, I misspelled that one. I'll switch over to the next one. Wait, okay. So your blood makes up 8% of your body weight.
Mm-hmm.
A giraffe hums to each other at night to make sure the herd stays together.
Okay.
The last one is going to be gold nuggets were named after chicken nuggets, not the other way around.
Gold nuggets? Like
gold nuggets were named after chicken.
Like prospector, like gold nuggets?
Yeah, the gold nuggets.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So which one do you think is a lie?
Who you want? Who?
Go for it.
Which one's a lie?
Which one is a lie?
I'm gonna go with the gold nuggets.
Gold nuggets. Okay, Matt, what do you got?
The gold nuggets.
Gold nuggets. And that is a lie. Yes. So both of you guys got a point.
It's not. I've seen the founder. Okay, I know that McDonald's was founded in like the 70s. Gold Rush. Well, actually,
okay,
on the same time. But I've seen a prospector and I've seen the Old West. And never do they ever have chicken nuggets in the old. Clint Eastwood wasn't like busted into the saloon like, give me the bowl of chicken nuggets ever. So
the one that got me though was like 8% of your blood. You know what I'm saying?
That made sense to me.
It does.
That's a medical question.
Yeah, that is a medical question. All right, give me 1 second to pull this up. All right, next one. One of these is a lie. Okay. One of the rings of Saturn is almost pure silver dust. The next one is nobody knows how to open the vault, the entire vault at Fort Knox. The last one is Miss Piggy was originally named Piggy Lee.
Piggy Lee?
Piggy Lee.
Hold on.
Which one is the fake? Don't Google.
What year did Muppets come out?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Want me to tell you?
Yeah, look it up. Tell me the year it came out. And where? Like who made it and what's their hometown? Before I go with that one.
And they try to name her after Bruce Lee or what?
I have no clue.
In 1976. And it is an American show. Started off as a joke.
Where in America? Like Missouri or like?
Oh shit, I don't know. It just says the first episode of premiere.
Peggy Lee, like.
Yeah.
So it's Piggy Lee. What's the silver dust and what's the other one?
The other one was
Fort Knox.
No one knows how to open the entire vault at Fort Knox.
Yeah, that's the truth. I think because everyone always says, "What are you Fort Knox in here?"
I'm gonna go with the Saturn one.
Yeah, I think I'm rocking with the Saturn one, but the Piggy one was close until you told me the year.
Okay. The answer is Saturn. Yeah, Saturn's fake.
Yeah,
that'll do. I almost got you with the Piggy. The Piggy Lee. That was close, huh?
Yeah, if it was like 80s or 90s,
yeah,
ain't no way Piggy Lee is gonna be like even considered. But 70s and earlier, I can see that for sure.
For sure. All right, give me 1 second. All right. So this next one is going to be the last round. You guys are killing it, both 2-2. I gotta trick you at least once. All right. This one is. Let me see. This one I gotta come hard.
Pause.
All right. Stupid. All right. I'm looking for a good one. I'm looking for one that's gonna like. Okay. Because that other one, it didn't make sense, and I looked it up. It was actually.
It's actually a truth.
Yeah, it's actually a truth. And I'm looking for the lines, but it's like, okay. All right. Which one is fake? That one's stupid. Oh. No, those not are believable. I got to find one that gets you. You know what I'm saying? I got to get that. That. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. All right. Wait.
What do you guys think about KD going to the Suns?
English.
As long as he can stay healthy, it's a good trade. But I don't know. That's a lot of money the Suns have to fork out in the next couple of years. You got D-Book. Obviously, Chris Paul's aging. Yeah. But according to what some people were saying, they wanted Kyrie in that deal.
Yeah, they did.
They wanted Kyrie and KD. They wanted
way too much money.
Well, hold on.
All right, last one. Let's end it with this one. All right. The ancient Greeks and Romans didn't have the number 0. You can see the Great Wall of China from space. Last one is Caesar salad was invented in Mexico by an Italian-American man. Which one is the fake?
You can see the Great Wall. That's true.
That's that Caesar salad, man.
No, hold on. Wait. What's the first one again?
The first one was the ancient Greeks and Romans didn't have the number 0.
Okay, the Romans didn't, the Greeks did, I think. Therefore, that one would be the lie.
So you think the ancient Greeks and Romans didn't have the number 0? Brian, what's yours?
It's the Greek salad, or the Greek salad. It's the Caesar salad, man.
The Caesar salad. So the Caesar salad was invented in Mexico by an Italian American man. Is true. That is a fact.
Snap.
The Greek and the Romans didn't have a number 0. That is true. The one that is fake is you can't see the Great Wall of China from space.
Man, Stop I thought you could see it from space,
nope,
man.
That is something that
Great.
I think I got you, guys.
Wall
I think I got
China from space. Let's see. China's wall less great view. I don't know, what does that even mean? Can you really see the Great Wall? It can't be seen with the naked eye. That's cheating.
So you can't see it from space. I didn't cheat. Literally if you zoom in on anything, you can see it. You know what I mean?
Not true.
You can't see the Great Wall of China from space. So it looks like I won.
You should have said to the naked eye. Then you know,
whatever.
That would make more sense to me.
It's what. So 2-2. I think I stumped you guys. You guys couldn't beat me. You couldn't get all 3, but you know what I mean? It is what it is. Sorry, guys. The last second video or game I had to come up with.
Hey, man.
Because stuff happens. So, yeah, it is what it is. So, how are we feeling about? We have a couple more minutes, but how are we feeling about video games right now and just movies and in TV? Do you feel like there's a lot of content out right now, or do you think there's like a solid 1, maybe 2 things people are really into?
I mean, on the video game side, obviously, there are 2.5 million people playing Hogwarts right now. I mean, I just saw the other day one dude put 32 hours and only played 2 actual story missions. I mean, that game is deep. Right. Atomic Heart comes out on Tuesday, which that's kind of one of those games where it's a Game Pass game. It's on PlayStation, so there's no like issue there. That looks really good. Show wise, I believe we're coming to the end of The Last of Us. I mean, we only got a couple more episodes left. It. You need to.
I'm waiting for the whole thing to finish.
And then movie wise, I mean, outside of Ant-Man, Quantumania, there's not a lot of big movies that you could say, okay, I'm ready to go watch that in the movie theater. I think once we get into the summertime, then we're gonna start peaking on movies where you have the Marvels, you have Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Yeah, Super Mario Brothers, Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So I mean, it's not dead, but I think we're getting more announcements for things for the future.
That's true.
And I think that's
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously Marvel just announced today that they're toning down their TV shows. I think we're only getting 2 this year. So I mean,
I think we're going to get some Star Wars content. That's why they're kind of kicking back. Disney Plus is like, we have enough. You know what I mean? Let's chill.
Well, I think Bob Iger came out and I guess they're having some sort of a rift between adding Star Wars and adding Marvel stuff. There's kind of that issue there. But again, I think it's all about the announcements. I mean, you're on track with like Deadpool 3 announcing that they just casted their main villain in the movie.
Ooh.
So curious to see which way we're going. Are we going Lady Deadpool? We going who else was it? I think Lady Deadpool, Death. I mean, there's some stuff in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Havoc.
What about you, Matt? What is there anything on your radar calendar? What are you waiting for?
Game wise, no. Gaming has sucked for the last 10 years. But I mean, I ranked playing Call of Duty. Started that last night. That's consuming all my time right now. That's what it's gonna keep consuming my time. I have an affinity for competitive Call of Duty, and
you do.
I've
really good at it, but you're
come to a realization that like I'm hooked on competitive COD no matter what it is. Vanguard was an awful game, but once League Play came out, I was like on board with it. So be grinding that. I'll play Hogwarts eventually. Jedi's coming out at some point.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm really waiting for.
Yeah. Movies wise, I think it's gonna be a year actually not of comic book films. There's only 4 from Marvel, I think 3 from DC. So 7 total, which is unusual usually for comic book films.
Yeah.
But I think the year of the cinema film comes back. We have Oppenheimer coming out later this year.
Ooh, that looks so good.
We have
So
a
good.
Scorsese film with DiCaprio coming out later this year.
That's that Western one, right? The one from like way back in the day. That one.
He's a cop.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a film of like, or it'll be a season of comebacks in terms of like
people going to the movie.
Not Marvel, not DC. Actual
sure.
cinema. So looking forward to that because I'm a big. As much as I love the Marvel DC stuff, I need the cinema, man. Like cinema just has my heart.
Also, too, I think with like everything coming out, it gives you a big appreciation for, stuff that's not Marvel. You know what I mean? Going down that rabbit hole.
TV shows. Looking forward to Loki season 2. Obviously, everyone kind of is. Looking forward to Secret Invasion. I think that's going to be a really good one, actually. Looking forward to. I just had it in my head. I forgot what it was. I forgot what it was. I just thought of it though. Had to do with Star Wars, Ahsoka, and stuff like that. I think Disney just has budget issues right now, so they're trying to figure out what to cut. More than anything, I think they do want to put more into Star Wars. I just don't think TV shows is what they want to do. I think they want to put movies out because it's been.
I hope, man.
But I think when it comes to like Star Wars versus Marvel and like what Disney wants to put their money into, you have a fan base who takes what they give and loves it, Marvel fans, and a fan base that just hates everything they put out over here.
For sure.
Not named Mandalorian. So it's like, why put money into this thing that everyone's always going to hate no matter what? Because Luke isn't attached to it or Anakin isn't attached to it. When I can give them this thing and they'll be okay with it how it is. So I think they need to figure out their budget issues. I think Iger's coming in trying to make budget cuts, which he's doing.
I mean, 7,000 people from Disney got let go, right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
To throw out
right.
go ahead.
Go for it. No. What you got?
Two movies. Yeah, just real quick. 2 movies. I'm super excited for. I know one's probably like they burnt the road out, but Dungeons and Dragons. I'm super stoked for. I used to play that with my uncles as a kid, and I'm kind of looking forward to the Fast X situation, just because they're adding a lot of puzzle pieces. But it's a burnt out franchise. Obviously, we got 2 more movies in the trash can, but I'm excited. I mean, I'm kind of waiting to see what it ends.
So the only way that gets me going is if they go back in time and they start this all over again. That's the only thing I'm going to be like, what? That's crazy.
I'm just going to say one thing on the Fast X thing. I just saw a trailer for Fast X at this movie at Ant-Man. Yeah. And they shot 2 helicopters, shot whatever Toretto drives, the old Challenger or Charger, whatever it is.
I think still around.
They shot 2 grapple hooks into him. And you know what he did to counter it?
Open the door.
He jumped off of a bridge and just let his car fall, and they just smacked into each other. The 2 helicopters.
Did he land it?
Yes, but the weight of that car is not taking down 2 choppers.
And he did it for family, bro. Family.
Hey, for family.
I saw a clip the other day of this franchise of The Rock on the back of a truck. Helicopter has a chain. It pulls the chain. He grabs it midair with one hand. Helicopter, by the way. And then like pulls it back and ties it back onto the little link. I am so sick of these unrealistic films that started out with them driving down a runway. I
know they were driving an 05 Honda. Now they're in space.
They're in space. The Rock is literally like doing his freaking gym stuff and then goes eat like 8 stacks of pancakes.
If that franchise can make $15, they will squeeze it out until they can make that.
I'm telling you, they're gonna end it on a cliff note, and then everybody who's a Fast fan is gonna be like, "I want to go back and watch it. Can't wait." I'm just waiting.
No, they're not.
They're not. But
nobody's a Fast fan.
I'm a Fast fan of the first one, but I own all.
I just feel like no one's looking forward to it. Is what I'm saying. But
no one's gonna. So we're gonna leave a cliffhanger here, and we're gonna call it a night.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Brian, for filling in for Andrew.
Hey,
thank you, sir.
You guys need me, man.
Thank you. Yeah, for sure. We'll definitely not call you about Fast and the Furious because
it's. I mean, listen, I only like it. I only like a little bit.
I got you. That's
R.I.P. Paul Walker.
But R.I.P. Paul Walker. Rest in peace.
But yeah, no.
I feel you though. But thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Hey.
You can find us anywhere from Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. If you made it this far, if you didn't, God bless you. I hope everything worked out for you. But you can find us on all social medias. Like, subscribe, comment, even tell us we suck. It's cool with us too. We're slightly unqualified. Steven, Matt, Brian. God bless. Stay humble. Take it easy. We out.